people misuse life, even though life's a gift. I'm born to death, but you still born to grift. And me, I don't miss. Keep your flagship crypto trash. Be ready for the paradigm shift. The cold wallet seed, phrase say magnifique. Liquidity pool, looking up at Diddy like Meek. One hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. In these Defi streets, you best protect your cheeks. I'm from the planet Alawanapana. Had some jewelry for my wife to keep, cause I don't wanna pawn her. And after taking secrets from Victoria, I may wall upon her. Or we drink from the Casamiga, cause I'm a wall upon her. Homie Bujetta, who never lies like Geppetto, I may rock some suspenders.
What's going on, everybody? It's your host, the Crypto Wonder from the Crypto Wonder Podcast. Hope you're doing well, and let's get right into it. You know, some of the things that I come to realize with respect to this crypto stuff that I'm always talking about. You know, there's certain experiences, or I guess not even experience, but discoveries that I made from my observations, right? And sometimes you might, I might find that, things are just overly complicated. And I start to get in a mindset where I have to look for answers. And then sometimes there's another realization that I get to where I don't have to look outside myself for the answers. That the answer really is within me, is within ourselves. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna highlight this thing about grifting that's been taking place on Pulse Chain. Maximum grift, maximum. At this point, it's just however people want to dress things up, experiment. It's a grift until it's proven otherwise, in my eyes. And that's what I mean by when you get to a point where you're looking at so many things going on, right? So many things going on at the same time. You could lose your footing. You could lose your ground. You could lose your foundation because you're looking at everything taking place. You're not even going back to thinking about your position and where you stand in all of this. So you get caught in the maelstrom, in the tornado of confusion and chaos, right? You lose your footing if you're not careful because you're busy watching everything else instead of really focusing on yourself. People believe now more than ever that it's over for Pulse Chain. I just see that as a strategy. I see that maybe as a tactic. I see that as a ploy. And it's also a sign to show you that, like, one person doesn't control what an entire market will do or is thinking. What a market thinks is reflected in the activity that takes place, let's say on the blockchain, right? You could have one person, you could have 10 people, you could have whomever. However, many people think that it's over for Pulse Chain, for example. But do they represent an entire market? They may have the buying power, great, huge buying power, where they could really make markets move. And then something happens where something else takes place that's beyond their control, to show them that the power that they perceive to, or the power that they thought they have, is not really power at all, because someone else or another entity or another group of people come in and they do whatever they want in a quote-unquote free market, to show that the people, the few that thought they controlled everything, don't have any power at all, or not to the level of power that they thought they had, to control price movements, to control the thought, to control the emotions of the people, right? They might be able to spark something, but can they finish it? Now, so many people launched coins. You want to get your hands, involved. You want to participate. You want to see how you could make money. You want to even see as far as how you can make money while other people who are buying your coins are making money. I think that's exciting. But if you're not doing things a certain way, if you're doing things in a way where you really don't understand what's going on, it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to fail. It's easy for prices to go to zero and your charts to be down and to the right. Now more than ever, I've discovered this whole thing with these paid groups is pump and dump. That's all. And you could say no, it's not pump and dump. Well, then it could be pump and you're gonna dump later. What sense does it make if you're in crypto to make money? You launch a coin and you call it an experiment, that you're telling the world that you have benevolent whales that are keeping the price up and that will keep the price up forever. So what is that? You just all in it for the tech? You all in it for the technical analysis, paralysis? That's what you did? Your coin, for example, goes from 0 to 1 million. And no one is supposed to take money out of that or extract value, like these terms people are saying now a lot. Extract value. Why? Because you have a special experiment taking place in this degenerate environment. Your experiment is special and unique. I've heard the majority of the people that have launched coins on Pulse Chain sort of favor Richard Hart in some shape, form, or fashion. They'll mimic the delayed gratification narrative. They'll mimic the the staking. As far as Hex, they'll mimic learning about liquidity providing. Right? They'll limit about, talk about audits. They'll mimic what he's talked about that's out there in crypto in so many ways, and then sort of try to take credit for whatever they do that seems like it's supposed to be successful, as if they found a way to do something better than RH. That could be very well a possibility, that you did create something better, because I do envision in the future better things will be created, because better things have been created that are better than Bitcoin today. So it would be a mistake. I would fall short if I were to believe that nothing else better than what RH has created will ever be. No, that's false. Because I do believe in advancement and evolution. But I don't care for someone's pride and ego in their quest to outshine a perceived founder or master, to outshine a teacher in a way. That's what you have here as far as crypto, where people think Richard lost his way. You see, when it's like folks let their mind go, they let their mind go. They create problems sometimes that may not even exist. You know, that's the thing. Sometimes people create problems that don't even exist. They look for anything, right? Their outlook is so dark every day. Their energy is just heavy and ripe with negativity. You know, they just, everything is from a pessimistic perspective. And so, can you expect to hear anything positive from someone who has a mind that's just filled with negative thoughts every day? And when you're hearing these negative perspectives about something like Pulse Chain not ever becoming anything successful, they're not even saying 10x anymore. They're saying that it's over. Like, says who? People a lot of times say things are done because they want to feel better about themselves. What do I mean by that? Pay attention to folks who say certain things, right? And part of paying attention is sort of like decoding and deciphering the messages that people convey. If you have someone that's been in the community for a long period of time, you're in the community, that's because you like something that the community is engaged with. You like Pulse Chain for some reason, form. It may not be for the reasons I like it. And then you get to a point where you just say things like, Pulse Chain was the biggest mistake you ever made in your life. Sacrificing was the greatest mistake you ever made in your life. And you add on to that by saying you sold everything, or not even that you sold everything, but like, you know, that you're not dealing with Pulse Chain ever again. Good luck to everybody who remains, and you're moving on, right? When you continue to give the negative opinions and thoughts, to me it looks like it's someone that's trying to really soothe themselves because they are in a state of pain because they sold, not just dumped, but sold everything, left. And in order to make yourself feel better, you'll talk bad about Pulse Chain. Just like the guy who sold 500 million hex, and Richard told him on a stream, congratulations, you sold your future. You know, like, whatever caused that person, I don't know what caused that individual to sell 500 million hex at the time, but something caused him to do that. You have people who feel whatever they feel, become triggered now, and they'll just get rid of whatever. Whether they got triggered from whatever life events, opinions, thoughts, something that made them feel bad, and they're out. They sell and they're gone. But again, what's provoking you to continuously talk crap? about the thing you already sold. You sold it. It's gone. Why are you holding on? It's because they feel bad. Think about all the negative stuff that you're hearing about Richard Hart and Pulse Chain and all the negative perspectives. Like, think about it, folks. Why would a person, like, just consistently, like, talk negative about a situation that's on the internet that no one forced you to become involved with? Is because they're angry at themselves, right? So they want to, in other words, transfer that feeling of despair. They want to see the pain that they're existing in and experiencing projected onto others like a movie screen, right? They want to flash, right, their inner woes and pains onto others like a projection, like a movie screen, or even just give it out, lend it elsewhere, so that they can feel a little bit more at ease in their discomfort. It's not, I don't think it's more difficult than people may want it to be. Folks will tell you things like, listen, I have the intel, I have the alpha. If you only knew what I knew, that of what's to come with Pulse Chain. What they're really saying is, if you only knew the pain they're feeling from inside. But they're masking that by telling you it's about something else to dress it up and make you think that they have some juicy information that is not favorable information. It's actually negative information to force you to make a decision and do something that you'll potentially regret, maybe, by selling your coins. Imagine I come on the internet and I say, ladies and gentlemen, if you only knew, man, hold on to your seats. If you think things are bad now, get ready. That message is to psych you out, to cause you to ask questions, to cause you to become anxious, fearful, to doubt yourself, to be afraid. Because Crypto Wonder said, hold on to your seats. Crypto Wonder, within his message, implied, oh my man, it's about to get even darker. Prices are gonna go even lower. Let me get out while I can and salvage whatever monies I can at this point before it goes any lower. That's some of the tactics these people use. That's some of the tactics they use, right? Because if you do ultimately bite the bullet and you sell because of a message you heard me say that things are going to get even worse with the charts, guess what I would do? Not to say that, because first of all, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm saying if I was a person who was sneaky, right, who was shifty, right, who had nothing but bad intentions, if I was working in a way to trick people to sell, I would give the bad message, the bad warning, the warning for folks to beware of the incoming potential doom based on my own feelings or rumors or whatever, or me just even starting a rumor, force you to be scared. Not even force, but this is how you might be impacted by the words. This is how the message might affect you. You become intimidated and scared and don't want to lose out from already potentially, maybe you've been losing this whole time already. You don't want to lose more, so you sell. And what do I go and do in my deviant mind? I buy. I buy what you sold. I buy what you sold for a cheaper price, while I continue to espouse negativity. Because if it's so bad, why am I espousing negativity? Am I mentally ill? You understand? Like, what keeps you around? If you can continuously talk crap instead negative, it's because people have agendas, folks. You gotta understand, like, a lot of people play with terms like, psyop and, mind control and all these different things. And don't take anything for granted, folks. Like, I don't believe in coincidence. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't either, but I don't believe in coincidence. It's not the first time I've been through these cycles. God willing, it won't be the last cycle I experience in crypto. A lot of this comes with the territory. People are afraid to talk about anything 3,000, like 4-digit multiples, like 3 zeros and a number. They're afraid to even talk about 1,000x. Then no one's thinking about 1,000x, 10,000x. That's right now, that's laughable, because no one's talking about it anymore. People don't believe it anymore. It's like it's been like some form of like concentrated type of concerted, seem like there's been like a concerted effort. If you say anything 10,000x, you are treated like an outcast, like a leper. You do not belong in any pulse chain related conversation talking about 10,000x. You kidding me? You are treated as someone who is a bad actor, flat out, if you talk about 10,000x. It's akin to people saying that you are the problem because of whatever reasons that they use to tell you that pulse chain is dead. They'll still use things like the blockchain explorer doesn't work, which, like I said before, nerds complain about that. And I'm a nerd. Nobody cares about the blockchain explorer not working properly right now. Like, people care, but the world doesn't even know. So you think that the world would care? A no corner cares? Even people in crypto don't even care that the blockchain explorer for pulse chain doesn't work. I guarantee you there's more than one person who's using Pulse who don't care that the blockchain explorer doesn't work. I guarantee you there's more than one person who do not care about some V1 bug in PulseX. So not everyone shares the same sentiment that people may think in their head that folks do, right? People don't share my same views. People disagree with me all the time, and that's fine. So I don't like to say that we exist in an echo chamber of some sort. Nah, you just don't understand the unwavering stance a person like myself would have. They don't understand it. So you'll have individuals that will demean you try to literally break you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't physically, but, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. Like, come on now. Come on now. What's this, like, thinking this is a joke? For as much people have lost, people who have sacrificed, right? Everyone didn't sacrifice the same. Some people overextended themselves to the point where they regret the amount of monies they put into something, into the sacrifice. Now, I'm talking about Pulse Chain and Pulse X. They regret it because they overextended themselves, and they're angry that they didn't get the multiples that they probably envisioned that Pulse Chain would bring. And I understand that. But here we are now, 3 years later. What are you doing about it? What did you learn about it, right? There were teaching moments. What would you have done differently if the opportunity to sacrifice again presents itself? Will you or won't you? Would you sacrifice the same or more, right? So these are individual sort of like perspectives and questions people need to ask themselves, and the answers will be different for everyone involved. Because again, no one was forced to do anything here. This is you and these blockchains. This is you and these tokens. This is you deciding on your own time whether you're going to get in or not, right? You could clown RH till you're blue in the face. And I've been very critical of Richard Hart too. So I'm not someone who thinks he could do no wrong. That's not me. That's not me. That's other people, not me. In a sense where folks who 100% RH can do no wrong, they exist. That's not me. So if it's so bad, if you're having such a wretched experience, why do you stick around? Ask yourselves that, folks. The same people that'll tell you they will stop at no end to go after RH in a way where to prove how Pulse Chain and Pulse X will not ever yield the gains that they were designed to yield, supposed to, develop to do thousands of X's. You gave your monies up. Everyone who participated. And the gut-wrenching thing about this whole thing is there's no refunds. You gave your monies up. That's it. It's unaccounted. You can't account for that anymore. But people still ask questions like, why can't those funds be used to add liquidity? Like, why did you participate in a sacrifice when you were told to have no expectations, and then you ask questions later because you had expectations the whole time? Why did you even engage in this type of mental mind fuck? What's the point? Why, So again, all of these things that is easy for people to get caught up in goes back to you. All of these things that allow folks to be confused, to be lost, to be unsure, to question everything, right? It all goes back to you making a decision that's going to affect whatever you do tomorrow. Whatever you're doing right now on these blockchains will affect something in the future, should you be afforded to see the future. What are you doing today that's going to benefit you tomorrow? What are you doing on a blockchain today that may potentially benefit you tomorrow and for some time to come? No one's forcing you. No one's forcing us. It's just the truth. You could pray, you could whatever, right? Hope, You could do all that great stuff, and it's true. You should. I prefer to be. I prefer to have a positive mental attitude. This is not my first cycle, for example, right? I'm not oblivious to all these things that are taking place here. I'm not oblivious. I understand. I take the good with the bad. We talk about that all the time. I take the good, I don't dismiss the bad and pretend like it doesn't exist. Because even those that go against RH, they don't really look at the fact that, because you keep talking publicly, saying things about their displeasure with Pulse Chain and Richard Hart himself, and then will sort of like combat their perspective against Pulse Chain, supporting whatever they have going on, acting as if whatever they have going on has no weaknesses. All things are dual in nature. You got to deal with both halves to make the whole. You got to deal with the pros and cons in every single situation. I don't care what non-RH tokens people are supporting. Everything has the opposite to it. But they're not going to tell you about, right, the vulnerabilities within their own projects. They'll just make it seem like it's 100% solid versus everything RH related. In a grand scheme of things in the future, because this is what, again, time waits for no person, nobody. At some point in the future, we're going to look back at these times and we're going to see who basically had it together versus those who didn't. If you want to look at it like that, you're going to, reduce it to who was right and who was wrong. I don't aspire to be wrong. But if I was wrong in the future, if I discover that I was wrong, I'll accept it 100%. I don't know if others will, because you have people who are absent of a conscience here, who are operating in such a way, right? They're serving their own selfish wants, desires, needs, and greed. And they will stop at no lengths to reach those desires, to fulfill those desires. It doesn't matter who gets hurt. You have people like that in life. So best believe they exist in crypto. Best believe they exist in crypto. They won't even care if they're wrong. I'm telling you, this is case in point. As simple as this. Right? People think, if you're on a chain, you said you're making money because whatever scheme or strategy, something you contrived and cooked up seemed to have worked. Whatever experiment you're working on seemed to have worked and has been working. They can't even find in their own hearts to thank RH for validating what he says as far as being the giving tree. Think about it. People who launch their own coins, non-RH related, who claim that, their community is thriving, their communities are doing well, they're making money. They can't even publicly on the internet. I don't care if you on Twitter, on YouTube, on, blogging, streaming, you on the spaces, This is how folks communicate online. You can't even publicly say thanks to the founder for having the mindset to have hired developers after a 2-year-long wait, launch a Pulse chain that you don't like, that you complain about a blockchain explorer, you complain about the DEX, you complain about the people, You complain about the prices of all the coins, but you launched a coin unrelated that's been successful, and you can't even thank RH for that, at minimum, right? You can't even thank and say, hey man, I know you're going through a shitty experience right now, but guess what, man, I'm not, and I want to thank you because I'm still using the chain where I was able to see 1000x, where I was able to see 1,000,000x, where I was able to see a community grow from an experiment that I created. You see how people are disingenuous. It ain't hard to tell in the word of Nas, in the word of Nas, in the words of Nas, Nasir Jones. It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail. Peace.